Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're well. Thank you for joining me again. We're in the garage for this one as I needed my presentation abilities so I could run through a document with you. Wow, what a 24 hours it's been. Trump is the president-elect of the United States of America, labelled as the biggest comeback in history. One of the things that's happening at the moment, the mainstream media are going nuts. Every left-leaning celebrity, journalist or other is crying in their soup. It's absolutely incredible. And all of the usual excuses that come out when things don't necessarily go your way are certainly coming to the fore. And I guess this is going to go on for days to come. I've seen videos of Trump over the last 24 hours or so coming out and saying what is going to happen, what they're going to do. And it makes perfect common sense. So obviously from our point of view, yes, it does. From the other point of view, we're all going to be called just about every name under the sun. Now, what I want to concentrate on is the mainstream media with this one, particularly the BBC. You see, there was an interesting article that came up, which I want to run through with you. And it was all about 7 key things that Trump said he was going to do immediately. And it was the whole narrative. I just want to illustrate or point out how ridiculously pathetic they are. So without further ado, let me bring this up here. And you can see with the final results, Donald Trump 294 to Kamala Harris 223. And we could see from her electoral speech yesterday where she conceded defeat, there were certain things she could have said which really didn't. Now, 7 things Trump says he will do as president. Now have a look. So there's the man himself. If we go down, deport undocumented migrants. Now this is something that's very very important. You know, like I say often on the channel, they come over here. We have no idea who they are, where they are, what they're doing when they get here and all the rest of it. Right. So while campaigning, Trump promised the biggest mass deportation of undocumented migrants in history. Pledged to complete the building of a wall to keep them out. Number of crossings at the US southern border hit record levels during the Biden-Harris administration. Now, this is the thing. Experts have told the BBC that deportations on the scale promised by Trump would face huge legal and logistical channels and could slow down economic growth. Now, immediately, it's a negative comment there, you see. Complete and utter negativity from the BBC. Why would it slow down economic growth? How much money is poured into the economy trying to protect, process, or all the other logistical nightmares and things that come with this kind of operation? Doesn't make any sense, does it? Particularly, well, not to this taxi driver. Let's have a look at number 2, moves on economy, tax and tariffs. Exit poll data suggested the economy was a key issue for voters. Well, of course it is. Trump promises to end inflation, which rose to high levels. He also promised sweeping tax cuts, extending his overhaul from 2017. He's proposed making tips tax-free. That's good because a lot of American, bar staff and that sort of thing make the majority of their money from that. Abolishing tax on social security payments. Yeah, I mean, if you need those payments, why pay tax on it? You're in trouble enough. He's proposed new tariffs of at least 10% on most foreign goods to cut the trade deficit. Imports from China could bear an additional 60. He has said some economists have warned that such moves could push up prices for ordinary people. Ordinary people where exactly? I think or certain sectors of our area are worried about future dealings with America with regard to tariffs. You know, you have a deal with America, then that's all on the table, isn't it? But what he's simply saying is made in America, built in America. And then anything else that comes in is a, tariff applied to it. And in that way, you can lower taxes for Americans, which puts more money in their pocket, which in turn gives them a better lifestyle. You know, again, common sense, what's wrong with that? A more negativity from the BBC. And you can see the narrative here. Cut climate regulations. Now, this is a good one. This is where the lefties will go mad. Trump rolled back hundreds of environmental protections and made America the first nation to withdraw from the Paris Climate Agreement. He's again vowed to cut regulations, particularly as a way to help the American car industry. He has constantly attacked electric cars, promised to overturn Biden's targets. He's pledged to increase production of US fossil fuels, vowing to drill on day one in favour of renewable energy sources. He wants to open areas such as the Arctic wilderness to oil drilling, which he argues would lower energy costs. Thought analysis are sceptical. Again, another negative. Now, at the end of the day, with this rush to net zero and all the other baloney that we're coming out with, all it's done is pushed our energy bills up. There's more costs involved with all of this. And if you look at stuff like Nesso in this country, there's some interesting news come out about that. You look at the cost of the turbines and the fact you need wind and it's not there all the time. What happens if they don't work? They don't break down. A lot of this stuff, all of these extra costs are just being pushed onto our energy. Yes, at some point in the near future, we probably could find a way of harnessing all this stuff more effectively than we do now, but rush is not the answer. And he recognizes that. And if you go back to oil drilling, fuel costs come down, energy costs come down, job opportunities increase. Again, America first. I'm sorry, but he's putting America first. End that war. Yes, Trump wants the US to disentangle itself from foreign conflicts, generally regarding the war in Gaza. Trump has positioned himself as a staunch supporter of Israel, but has urged the American ally to end its operation. He's also pledged to end the related violence in Lebanon, but gave no details on how. Again, a semi-negative. It's, if you look at the last 4 years and then compare it with the previous 4 years and come and tell me how many conflicts, how much problem we had worldwide in the news over that 8-year period, cut it roughly in half, and then come and talk to me, you can see that there's certain world leaders that will be thinking, hang on a minute, because they know that things are about to change. And, this is something to keep an eye on, definitely. Number 5, against the wishes of some of his supporters, Trump said during the presidential debate with Kamala he would not sign into law a national abortion ban. Reproductive rights became a key campaigning topic for Harris, and several states approved measures to protect or expand abortion rights on polling day. Trump himself has regularly said states should be free to decide their own law on abortion, but struggling to find a consistent message of his own. So again, a semi-negative thing on the end of that. At the end of the day, everybody has a right to bear a child, have a family. I've got 2 kids. Everybody's got 2 kids. But there are certain circumstances where that dreaded A word might need to be a consideration. Victim of crime, the child has some kind of very serious condition, which means it's going to have no quality of life, illness. So there's all sorts of things. And, that person must have the right to choose what's best, obviously, with the help, and state control over that kind of thing is quite iffy. But there you go. They campaigned on that and said, he's going to stop this, he's going to stop that. He's turned around and said, no, I'm not. So it deflates that argument. But again, been a bit negative. Pardon some rioters from January the 6th. He will free some of them. Several deaths are blamed on violence, which Trump is accused of inciting. Well, loads of us that follow this know what was. He has worked to downplay the riot's significance and recast the hundreds of supporters who were convicted as political prisoners. Again, this is the BBC skewing the narrative. And I'm going to bring you out a video in the next couple of days about something else. And I've been sent a voice recording, and you'll see how much the media skews the narrative. He continues to say many of them are wrongly in prison, though, as acknowledged as a couple of them probably got out of control. It's like what we had over here. People do get out of control, but in the main, people come out with good intentions, and all of a sudden, sack Special Counsel Jack Smith. This is number 7. About to sack him within 2 seconds of taking office. Jack Smith has indicted Trump over alleged efforts to overturn the 2020 election and over his alleged mishandling of classified documents. Trump denies any wrongdoing and managed to prevent either case coming to trial. He says Mr. Smith has subjected him to a political witch hunt. Trump will return to the White House as the first ever president with a criminal conviction. Again, a negative, having been found guilty in New York of falsifying business. That's all, subject to the legal process. And I've read other things from other places saying that is going to be dealt with. He could even pardon himself, pardon me, But I just wanted to run through that document with you because it's very obvious the mainstream narrative that's going on there. Trump said this, but actually we're going to stick the boot in a little bit more. And we're going to see loads of this. Just be mindful what comes out in the mainstream media. What's said. We really need to be on our guards against incitement in the media, trouble in the media, and them saying the wrong things and too many people falling for it. I've done quite a bit on this over the last couple of days and developed a bit of a playlist. Normal guy talking about normal things that affect all of us. That's me. If you like that sort of thing, subscribe to the channel. And there's a playlist here of different bits and pieces to do with Trump if you want to carry on watching. And as always, I look forward to talking to you soon. Toodaloo.